Hey friends, I just wanted to kind of go over my vintage Tamagotchi collection. I have so many, so many Tamagotchis, and I've never really made a video about anything that I have. So I figured I would go over some odd pets. Some of these are odd pets, and some of the vintage ones that I have. So there's a few in here that aren't Tamagotchis, but I figured I'd throw them in there anyway. I'll try to go in order. Sort of. We'll see how this goes. There's the Tamagotchi Pee Ones. So quite a few of these are the Pee Ones. You'll know that they're P1 if they have the checkered background. So a lot of these have checkered backgrounds. This one right here I actually painted myself, and it didn't turn out how I wanted. It barely works. It was kind of broken when I already got it. So I just had fun with painting it. It's definitely messed up and kind of broken. A lot of these I actually got from Japan pretty recently. A good amount of them are in Japanese, but I have a few in English. And then I have a lot of my P2s. I actually have a lot more P2s than P1s than I thought. So pretty much this whole row is like the second wave. So P1 means like the first wave, P2 means like the second wave, and the P2s kind of have this like swirly, crazy looking background where the P1s have the checkered. This one right here, this camo one, was actually kind of like my first Tamagotchi ever when I was really young, and I also had this shell at a Christmas at some point, but I'm pretty sure this was my first one. I'm knocking them over. I'll just leave those on their side. I think the ones that came out next were possibly the Angels, but I'm not entirely sure. There's the Tamagotchi Angels, where you kind of raise an angel pet, which is really, really fun. I only wanted one, and I originally got one brand new, and then I ended up getting two more in a lot for very cheap, so they ended up being like $5, which is super nice. And I have a lot of the packaging for a lot of this. I kind of take it out because I like to just pick them up and just take it out of here and just run it if I want to. So I have a lot of the packaging, so if I ever wanted to resell or whatever, I could just put them in the packaging, but I don't think I could ever get rid of them because I love them so much. I'm also not very good at like making a video and just talking about things, so feel free to like give me any criticism on that. As for like the next one, maybe would be like the Ozuchi Mezuchi ones. So I have these guys, assuming that it'll focus. I'm not sure that it'll actually focus on these guys. There we go. With these guys, you actually pop off the top of the eggshell, which is pretty rad. And when they reach full adult, you snap them together like this to connect them. And they actually have a baby, and it's really, really cute. And then you continue on your generation, so it's kind of like what connections will be in the future, which is really awesome. But these are also pretty old. I'm not entirely sure the year that these came out, but I'll put these back in here. They're very fun. I also have a few other ones over here that I'll grab and show you really quick. They're just kind of off to the side. I have the transparent set of these guys, which is really good, assuming that it'll also focus. There we go. These are really cool. I found these separately when I realized you could actually get them as pairs. They also take like the LR batteries, LR44 I think is what they're called, the little button batteries, the smaller ones. So they're really fun. I have a few spare ones over here that kind of came with lots, like another one of these and a pink one without the shell design on, or without the little shell piece on it. So that's pretty much it for the Ozuchi Mezuchi that I have. And I believe the Ozu and Mezu stands for boy and girl, and they have a pink and blue background, which are really, really cute. And I've never actually fully run them, but I really want to. There's a lot of these that I haven't fully run because when collecting, I just kind of end up collecting more than I do playing with them. But now that I have one of every version, I think I'm going to get more with playing with them now, which I'm so excited for. It's going to be so fun. There's also the Garden or Moreno, which is this one. I have two of the same shell. This one's kind of got some broken screws in it, and it came with a lot, but it's kind of off to the side. This one works perfectly and came with the packaging and everything, and it looks really nice, assuming that it'll focus. There we go. I made a case for it. I like to crochet and make cases. This is not such a good one, but I really like to case up my Tamagotchis if I can help it, but it takes a lot of time when you have so many of them. And in this one you actually raise like a bug, so you can see it's got like the tree background, assuming that it'll focus again. I don't know that it will. Sorry for that. It's got like the tree design on it, and you raise a bug, and it's like obviously in the forests and stuff. It's really, really cool. Or a garden, I guess, is what people consider, but it's really, really fun. I have only run that for maybe a couple days and never really got super into it, so I want to try it again very soon and see how far I can actually go with it. I guess the next version that I'll talk about, I suppose, is the ocean version. So this red one, this clear purple one, and the blue one, these are all Japanese versions, and in this one you start with like a little fish guy. They're so fun to play with. I like this one a whole lot. They're actually the hardest to keep alive. People consider this to be like the most challenging one. I don't know why this is still in here, but it's still in here. I must have put it back in there. These ones are really hard to keep alive, and they're very, very fun to play. This one I've run probably like 5 or 6 times, and I've only made it to adult once. They usually end up dying, but I really have a good time with these. They're very, very fun. So if you're ever looking for a challenging one, you should go for an ocean. But if you're looking for them in English, they're gonna cost a lot more, like a couple $100. These ones I got for like $17 or $15 because I always keep an eye out for like the best deal. Do not look for them in English. They're very, very hard unless you're really trying to collect them, which one day I'd like to have one in English, but they're so expensive. I can't get behind spending that much on one that you can just play in Japanese because there's not very much dialogue in these. Also, the same goes for almost all of these. If you're looking for one and you think it may be cheaper in Japanese but you're worried about the language, there's really not much to get used to. It's only a few selection options, and there's some text in some of these, like the angel ones, that you could like obviously see, but it's not too big a deal. The language barrier doesn't really matter when it comes to Tamagotchis, as long as you can memorize a few things, honestly. As for, I guess, the next one, which is over here, I actually have a Tamagotchi Devil in the package. A lot of this does have packaging, but I really only keep the really rare ones in the package because I don't run them very often and I don't pick them up and stuff. But this one is in like pretty pristine condition. I've run it once. I really haven't done too much with it other than running it for Halloween because that's kind of why I got it, and it's really pretty. Purple and white would probably be my like desired shell, but this one happened to have perfect screws and a perfect screen and really good packaging and a pretty decent price, so I was really happy to get this. They're very hard to find, or they're out there, but they're really expensive. Unfortunately, you can see here it was only 1900 yen back in the day because it still has the shop price tag on it, which is really interesting, but very expensive and sought after, and unfortunately a lot of money, but they're very fun. Very, very fun. I also have this one over here. It's a Tamagotchi Yasushi. I believe that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong. In this one, also with the packaging, and I found it for maybe a little more than I wanted, but it's very, very pretty. There are 2 other shells that I do like better, but I definitely wanted one for my collection because getting this completed my vintage collection. So in this one, it's kind of just like these ones, except for it's made to be easy, and it's from 1998. You press the actual buttons here that light up. They light up red, which is so cool. You press the buttons to actually make the things happen. So when it's hungry, you press the food. You actually press down on the button. Or when you gotta clean up after it, you do that. Or you turn off the light with the button. It's so nice. And then there's like an enter and a cancel button. And I just ran this one for like 3 days, but he ended up eating too many snacks and he got really fat and then he died, unfortunately. So I'm gonna run this one again soon. I just got it, so put him back in here just for the sake of seeing him in the package because he looks really nice. But this one also is very hard to find, probably the hardest one to find if you're looking for one at a good price. It's very difficult. It's very large compared to the size of like an original one. As you can see, it's like 8 times larger. Very difficult to find. Very, very fun though. I think I've had a lot of fun with this in the last couple of days, and I'm going to keep running it, and it's going to be so nice. But it's in the package, and I love it a ton. I'm so glad to have it in my collection. It's really, really nice. As for other rare Tamagotchis, I also have the red and white shell of the Santagotchi, or the Tamagotchi Santa. It's a Christmas version, where I believe you're trying to bring presents to other Tamagotchi, and there's like an advent calendar, and you're trying to get gifts and stuff. I have never fully run this or understood it, but I tried to run it for Christmas, and I had a good amount of fun with it so far, but I need to actually practice with it more. These two are in package, and very, very cool. This red one actually has somewhat of a faded screen, which is unfortunate, but I got it for a really good price. It's really hard to find these with a good dark screen and without stripped screws or broken screws. So these are very, very difficult to get a hold of without either of those two problems. I went through like a crazy heyday trying to get one with a good screen. So this one has a good screen, no bad screws. This one has good screws, kind of faded screen. So I don't know if I'm going to keep both of them, but they're very pretty, very fun. They're the same size as the P1, P2s, so if you're curious on size, they look really good and are very fun. I'm going to get more used to running those though, because I have no idea what I'm doing when I run them, but I'm going to learn them some more. There's also the Tamagotchi Moth right here, which is based off of the movie, where you can actually end up with a Mothra as your final goal, and I think you can get Godzilla in this one. I think that's a special character. So this is actually like one of the first like licensed Tamagotchis, I believe. I could be wrong. Obviously it's only in Japan, and it says Mothra, no, and I'm guessing it says Tamagotchi on it, or Tamagotchi. This one's really cool. I've never fully run it again. I've only made it like a couple days, and I end up sleeping too long or forgetting, and he dies. But I'd like to run this one fully, and I have some of these cases as well. They're from like 1997, so you'll see some of these have cases on them. But I enjoy it. It's a really pretty looking one, and it's in a matching case actually. I want to crochet more cases for the smaller ones, but I haven't really got to that yet. But that one is very, very fun so far. And then there's one that I've actually never ran. I only got this for collection purposes so far, but I'd like to run it. It's the Tamagotchi. I think it's trying to focus, maybe. There we go, Tamagotchi. This is the only shell that it comes in. A lot of these have a lot of varied shells behind me, or behind here. This one, you are actually raising or taking care of a Japanese actress, I believe. This is also from like 1997, and it's got like sakura petals on it or whatever, and it's really interesting. I've only turned it on and really messed with it. This is like the one I really haven't tried very long, but it's definitely interesting, to say the least, I suppose. And then there's also the Genjichi, which is the one also based off of a movie, I believe. You raise a caveman, and you can get like a gorilla, I think. I've never also fully run this one, so I'm going to get to running a lot of these once I have more time, and also now that I've pretty much collected one of every version, I think I'll have a lot more fun with running whenever I want, whenever I feel like it. So that'll be super fun. There's two more. No, there's like a few more. There's a few more. I have 3 of these Digimon, which are really old. The yellow one is in English, and the rest of them are in Japanese. They can get pretty expensive here and there. This one I have with the box, which is actually over there, so I have the box for this one, and these two are without packaging, but I ended up getting them for like 12 and like, I don't know, $5 for the black one, and maybe 18 for the blue one, so pretty cheap. A lot of these I have crazy like sale stories behind them, because I like to hunt Tamagotchis at good prices, and it takes a long time, and you go crazy searching for them. But I really do like the Digimon Tamagotchi, and there's, I feel like, a few versions of those, and there's also like the pendulums, which I think can connect them as well. These are like the these are like the 2018 versions of those. There's quite a few Digimon ones that I'm not totally up to date with, but I just do this in here because I think they can connect to the 1997 ones, or 8, they might be 8 as well. And I have a few of these as well. I figured I'd throw these in here. They're the Digimon Zeus Wars ones. They're really small. in comparison to the actual Digimon ones. Like maybe 2 of them are one of these. They're newer as well. You do like battles and stuff on them. I've never really truly messed with them. They tell the time. I don't know if they're in English or not. But I got all 3 of these with the packaging. The packaging's over there for like $17, so it was a really good deal. I was really happy with that, so that's why I own them. I just figured I'd throw them in this video because I don't exactly know when they came out or what they do specifically, but they're very cool. As for a few of the things up here that I didn't actually go over that weren't the Tamagotchis, some of the things that weren't Tamagotchis, well actually I'll finish the Tamagotchis first. I also have this, which is an Coach, which is a pedometer pet, if I can get it to focus. There we go. It's a pedometer pet, where you are, I believe, a girl Tamagotchi, and you walk around with it to get steps, and when you go places, I think you try to get boy Tamagotchis to give you gifts and go out on dates. I've not fully run this one either. This one's super used. I got it in a lot. It needs a new screw there, so I just put some tape there. It's kind of sun-faded and the screws aren't very good, but it works perfectly, and it ended up costing me like $5, and these are very expensive, so maybe 10, 15 in the lot total. But has a little bit of chipped paint, which is a little sad, but it works when you power it on. Okay, I think the video cut off, but with the Coach, this one, I really do want to use it. I'm going to get a new screw for the back of it and put a battery in it, and just try to run it. I think that, I don't know exactly what this does, to be honest. I've not really gone through this one, but it looks pretty good. Originally this one was light blue and it turned to green due to sun fade, so it's like a little bit more of the true color on the back, but this one's really interesting, really hard to find. It's a pedometer and I like it a fair amount. I think one day I'll run this. I have not really messed with it too much other than turn it on and test it and make sure everything was working. And I also have this one, which is a Tamagotchi, which is a pedometer pet as well. You are a Tamagotchi. I believe this is in English. I think you can choose between Mimichi, and Kuchipachi, and you walk around the United States in this one actually. You like get fuel and you go to actual national monuments in the United States, which is pretty cool. This one's in pretty good condition. I ended up getting it off of like a collector's group, which is pretty rad, considering I didn't think I'd ever find one of these because they seemed pretty darn rare. And this one's in pretty nice condition, so I'm glad to have it. I really do actually want to run this. It's pretty perfect, so I can take it with me. Terrified of like scratching it, but whatever. I'm gonna use this one day and it's gonna be great. I'm really excited. As for the ones back here, assuming that it'll focus. There we go. As for the ones back here that I didn't really go through, this is like a Rugrats Giga Pet. It has a backlight screen in it. Some of these are just random. I may include them in like a video about odd pets that I have maybe. I also have a talking nano baby, which I had when I was really young, so I'm glad to have that again because I found one pretty recently in collector's group, which is great. I got a Floppy Frog, which is a Giga Pet, which has a lot of evolutions people like a lot. I actually found it on eBay, new in package, and then I had to open it and test it because I figured it would be exploded battery and stuff. But it was really cheap. It ended up being like $17 with Prime, so I was like, dang, I really want that. It was really cheap. I have 2 Neopets Stars, which actually can connect with IR. There's 4 colors total. I have the yellow and the blue, which are very hard to find. If you try and find one of these online, you're going to be searching for a long time because I had a really hard time finding this one. This one actually came in a lot and was only like $10, which was really lucky. I was very happy about that. And I have a Nano Puppy, which is from my childhood, and a Microchimp, which is like a monkey Giga Pet. I ended up getting for $5 broken. I opened it up and fixed it, and it was super rad. So, I don't know. I think that's about it for my vintage collection. I just figured that I would kind of like make a video about some of the things that I own. Here's pretty much the whole collection just chilling here. I also have a huge shelf with a lot of other things that I might have missed, so one day maybe I'll do a full collection, but I figured I'd just talk about some of the releases and some of the vintage Tamagotchis that I own. And I think that'll about do it. If you guys are watching and enjoying some Tamagotchi videos, kind of like this one, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll make a few more videos about my collection, some of the more recent ones, the connections, the color versions. I have actually almost one of every single version ever released in the world now, which is so nice. I've been collecting for almost over a year now, beyond what I already had when I was young. So if you guys enjoyed this, thanks for watching, and I'll see you the next time I make a video about Tamagotchis. So have a good one. Goodbye.